Hi, Noah and friends.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Should we introduce our new object on the podcast?
I'm happy to introduce them. You're not happy with the way I'm using both of them to sit, but I've told you from the beginning, one of my non-negotiables, one of my very few non-negotiables was that I need to have pillows for my armrest. But yeah, you got these beautiful pillows that match the new curtains that you got off camera. But we
got mauve pillows and mauve curtains. Very exciting.
I called it pink, and you were very quick to correct me. Let me know that it is not pink, it is mauve, and there is a huge difference.
And a gay man at Crate & Barrel goes, "Ooh, those are a good color."
So that's how you know.
Which is a standing ovation.
Yes, that's how you know you made the right choice.
I did see a fellow comedian, Jessica Kirsten, has a podcast, and I was looking at some clips. They were very funny. She was hugging that pillow, wrestling with the pillow, and I thought to myself, wow.
Well, here's something I'll tell you.
Noah has a pillow twin.
Of course, any sensible person has pillows to rest on, but I always do the pillows under my arms. What you're doing right now is not normal, which is sitting way too close to me and turning and leaning and looking over. I would like you to scoot over, please. We're both doing what we normally do. I have the pillows and you stay on your side of the couch there. That's right. That's proper podcasting form for you.
Did we go over that my husband's like portrait mode? Move further away?
I don't want you doing old, new jokes at the beginning. We're going to cut that for sure.
You know, some people have coined, there is a term that has been coined on the podcast, and that is Grumpy Noah.
Coined by you. You posted a video saying Grumpy Noah is alive and well, and then people were in your DMs referring to me as Grumpy Noah, and I would like to say I'm not Grumpy Noah. I am Reasonable Noah, who is easily irritated.
Reasonable Noah, who's easily irritated, is a really fun nickname.
It doesn't have the same ring to it as Grumpy Noah. Okay, I will tell you this. I'm actually in a good mood today. It's been a good week, but I am upset about the timing of this podcast. I'm getting my haircut in 2 hours. I look like a stray dog. I look like a wolf. I look like a Furby right now. I haven't had a haircut in weeks. And again, I think we've talked about this before. One thing you don't appreciate is to get a good lineup when I go to a haircut, I can't just clean up my beard. So you're like, why don't you just clean up your beard before we podcast? I can't do the line because my barber needs the full fuzz picture to be able to get a nice line. So I can't do any sort of maintenance before I go see him. And I feel like every time I'm about to get a haircut, you want to podcast 2 hours before the haircut. It's kind of like having to shit right after you take a shower. It's kind of like it rains right after you get a car wash.
It's like rain.
So I'm happy to be here, but the timing wasn't great.
Well, I want you to know that I don't notice.
Thank you.
There is something about a married couple that someone's like, "Oh my God, my hair." And it's like, didn't notice.
You don't complain when I'm looking like shit because my beard is unkempt, but every time I come back from the barber the next day, you'll look at me with a little gleam in your eyes. You're like, something looks good about you. I'm like, yeah, I got lined up. It looks nice.
And I don't like you looking good roaming the streets. No one wants a husband out there looking good. We want our husbands looking weird.
You want your husband leaning on mauve pillows with a full beard, just chilling in the house. Apologies to anyone who had to hear that unconscionable fountain running in the background, but you did just unplug our abundance fountain, so now we're about to go broke while recording.
Thank you for understanding the power of the universe. I have to talk about your particularities and a question. My question is, would you be opposed to me creating Grumpy Noah merch?
No, because a financial windfall would make me happy.
So I'm thinking white t-shirt, black and white, grumpy face, and then Grumpy Noah, almost like a mugshot.
Well, I will say with respect to, while we're talking about grumpy t-shirts, we took our kids to the Children's Museum this weekend because it's 112 degrees and it's week number 732 of summer break.
And we have kids,
and we're out of ideas
at children's museums.
And while we were at the museum, I saw a very, very tired looking dad in a shirt that said people, and it had 5 stars, and then it was 1 star filled in. So it was like he was giving people 1 star, and then under it said absolute nightmare, would not recommend. And I just gave him the thumbs up, and he's like, what? And I was like, I like your shirt. And that was all the small talk required between two people who don't really like other people. And then you instantly went on Amazon and ordered me the shirt. So maybe next episode I'll be in my People 1-star review shirt.
And then I'll wear a Grumpy Noah shirt.
I'm not opposed to Grumpy Noah merch, but the thing is, I don't want it to become this character. I'm not, like, all of my grumpiness as it relates to the podcast is truly authentic. I'm just complaining about things that are literally getting under my skin.
You're a particular person.
Yeah, I'm not grumpy.
Okay, I have a question. Do you think that a lot of women are with their husbands and their husband goes, "Oh, I hate that perfume. Oh gosh, how much spray did you spray?"
I have a heightened olfactory sense. That's all of my grumpiness is related to sensory overload. Like, that's the thing. I could care less about so many things that other husbands or just people in general care about, that give their partners or their friends shit for. I'm so easygoing with respect to anything that doesn't have to do with smells that bother me or sounds that bother me. As long as I don't have to be upset by smells and sounds or particular touches. But I feel like I get touched out because the kids climb on me all day, and then at the end of the day you come to like latch on and hug, and I'm just touched out. It's not your fault.
That's fine.
But yeah, my irritability is all sensory related.
Could you be with someone who is also incredibly sensory irritability?
No, what I will be honest about this. I think all of my issues make perfect sense. I don't think I'm unreasonable about the things that bother me, but I also could not be with someone who is as easily bothered by all the things that bother me as I am.
Am I bothered by anything?
No, you're very easygoing, which is why we're perfect partners. But when you do get bothered, you unleash hell. Like, whereas I stay at a slow boil, like I'm at a simmer. I'm ready to get angry all the time, but for the most part, I stay even keel. You're almost never angry, but then when you do, you fly off the handle out of nowhere, and I'm like, hey, what was that? Relax. That was uncalled for.
There's just like one smell where I'm like, what is that?
Let's talk about something very exciting for you. Yesterday, something came in the mail that you were quite excited to open up. What have you finally achieved? What career mode have you finally unlocked? Let the people know.
I got my SAG card.
Explain what that is for anyone that doesn't know.
It's
Screen Actors Guild. You officially joined the Professional Actors Union.
At first, when I was like in college and going to theater school, it was like a big deal. And like, while I don't know what they were teaching us, but they would like lecture us on like SAG protocol and like the things. I'm like, what?
Beautiful explanation. SAG? You did a really great job. People know exactly what SAG is now.
Okay, I can't explain things.
That is true. You meander.
I have a hard time summarizing. I would fail if someone was like, "Tell me the summary of this movie." I'd be like, "She's a kind of girl," and you're like, eh. Like, the thing about libraries.
What's so fun is you're so smart, and yet at times you're such an inarticulate meanderer. But anyway. SAG, the Screen Actors Guild. It's the union professional actors, and most projects that you would like to act in, you need to be a member of SAG. You need to be in the union to legally work on TV shows, but you need to have X amount of credits or hours worked on a show to be welcomed into the union, and you finally hit your threshold, and you paid off your dues, and yesterday your SAG card arrived, and you said, you were like, I think I'm going to tear up, and then I asked if you wanted me to tape it, you're like, no, and then ultimately you opened it, and we're just like, oh God, they're billing me already.
I've paid my dues, quite literally. And it's so I don't know if you know, but at first I was like, I don't want to be SAG because you just pay dues and then you can't do non-union work. Yeah, those are true.
But you forget about the 3 and 13 and 42 cent residual checks that you get every 6 months.
Yes, and we're happy that I think SAG is fighting for I don't know. I don't care. But I'm thrilled to be part of the union. I'm a union worker now. When I was way younger, I decided to do background work. And there was a company where you call in and let them know your avails. And then what they do...
Is that how you got on $1 Million Matchmaker?
No, that was Craigslist.
Okay.
And so you call the company, you tell them when you're available. And then what they do as a company is they take money, like $200 a month.
Of course.
They make those phone calls.
So they're like
all day.
headhunters for starving waiters who want any kind of TV credit.
So they would call me and say, you have to be on this set and this set. And I was so excited because that meant that I was like actually on the stage of a multicam sitcom, but I was the girl at the gym. So my role was just walk away from the camera. And you got fed and all those things. And you got $68 for the day if you were non-union. And they really wanted union. And those union people got like $180.
That's interesting that you were allowed to be union and non-union on the same project. Maybe rules have changed, but I feel like now if a show is a SAG show, you are only allowed SAG actors. But either way,
I remember wanting so badly to be the higher paid background.
it is a big deal because it opens the door to jobs that require you to be a member of SAG, but it is kind of a slap in the ass that A, you need to work X amount of hours before you're allowed in, and then B, you have to pay an exorbitant one-time membership fee. Like there's annual dues, but before you even have the right to pay your smaller annual dues, you have to pay a couple $1,000s to join SAG. So the very first time you get a decent sized check as a working actor, it instantly goes to the union. And then if you're lucky enough to have any small role, like if you speak at all on a show that is union, eventually you will get residuals. And so what's funny is you'll get a notice in the mail that a residual check is coming and you'll know your SAG residuals are coming, but it does not tell you how much it is. So you have no idea. I wasn't joking when I tell you, you and I have both gotten checks for 2 cents, 3 cents. Like they lose money based on the stamp they have to put on the envelope to send you your check in.
Ink cost more than what the check.
But then every once in a blue moon, you'll get like a couple $100 or close to $1,000 out of nowhere, and so you never know. Like when the SAG check arrives in the mail, it's never something reasonable. It's never like $132. It's either 12 cents or $784.
And it's exciting. You don't know. It's like the golden.
It's exciting until it's not, and then it's depressing, and it's like,
as we're talking, I'm like, I want a hat. I want something. Like I know I got my card, my physical card, but I think they should give you a T-shirt or a hat.
would you actually wear your SAG merch though? I mean, how lame is that?
I would, because it is lame, because I was like, I think I would do it for the girl who was on background getting paid $68.
I guess also there's like kind of now ironically lame is fashion, right?
I don't know. I think so. I love lame. I mean, you're talking to a girl who collects bagel T-shirts and like wants to create a company with
well, that's
bagel
your
shirts.
brand. That just feels right.
But I also think, and maybe I'm wrong, but isn't SAG fighting for more human and less AI?
They're always fighting for something.
There's a
Yes.
fight in them. Like there's
All
something
of the
argumentative
unions,
about
the Writers
SAG.
Guild, the Screen Actors Guild, Directors Guild, Producers Guild, they're all fighting against AI, and yet we all know AI is inevitable. So yes, they on a lot of fronts they are fighting a good fight. In general, most of the unions are well intentioned in trying to protect working artists. However, sometimes they pick fights that are either unwinnable or unnecessary, and then they'll just tell the union members, like every few years, Screen Actors Guild requires the union members to strike, or the Writers Guild requires members to strike, and then we're all just out of work for an undisclosed amount of time where we don't know when we're going to be able to work again. Progress is very slow.
I was so jealous of everyone picketing because I wasn't part of the union yet, and I was like, I want to picket too.
But the worst part about the picketing is it became a photo op. Like,
Yes.
people weren't actually there to fight for rights. They were there to post on their Instagram saying they picketed, hoping to like meet famous actors or writers who were also picketing.
They're actors.
I know, but it was all for show. It was all lame. It's not like they were farm workers picketing with Cesar Chavez fighting for like a fair wage for people.
Picket fence. We love money.
Anyway,
It was a bunch of actors. I agree, but it's like, yeah, what do you want to do?
Well,
It's a lot of headshots.
I'm about ready to leave the Writers Guild and the Screen Actors Guild and switch professions altogether, because I basically have become a full-time contractor and builder. I mean, the amount of things that you have had me build for the house the last few weeks and that I have successfully and beautifully built, and now I'm learning to enjoy the process. I am basically a goy
What
at
do
this
we
point.
say about your foreskin?
My foreskin has fully grown back in. Every time I successfully build something, anytime I do manual labor, Esther says, I can hear your foreskin growing back.
And your cooking has.
Well, we got a grill.
insane.
One of my dear friends, very sweetly, last year came to visit, and he bought the kids toy Jeeps for them to drive, but he didn't realize how big my kids are. So instantly he wanted them to each have one of the toy Jeeps, but because they're basically already grown out of them, we just let them share one Jeep, and then I traded the other Jeep to my neighbor because he has a young daughter who can fit in the Jeep, and he was getting rid of his grill, so he gave me his grill, I gave him the Jeep, and now I grill out. And
it's
so
a barter system in this neighborhood.
Yeah, it's Mesopotamia.
Yeah, we got a great deal. We got the grill for the car.
But say all that to say, over the last week, I've built 3 desks, a vanity. I hung up the bulletin board that required putting anchors into the wall, and I've grilled 3 nights in a row, and I no longer am a Jewish man.
There was a moment where I felt really good because you put dinner on the table, and usually I'm annoyed that like it takes so long to go grocery shopping and meal plan and chop and cook and saute and da-da-da. And then you put it on the table, and in 7 minutes, the food is gone. And that's what you want. But like, it was funny last night. You were just like, I cooked this and you couldn't even wait.
Well, because I spent so much time grilling a whole variety of vegetables. I sliced them up, I diced them, I grilled them to perfection. I put on the table, and from the time I put the vegetables on the table to the time I went out to get the steak off the grill, I came in, and the boys not only had eaten all the vegetables, but they were taking it all with their grubby little fucking hands. So I had like 4-year-old sticky grease hands grabbing all the mushrooms and onions and zucchini that I had just grilled. And to your point, I was glad to see them eating their vegetables, but I thought that their manners were a little bit behind.
It was off, but it was just it feels sometimes good to it would be like you trying to put on makeup and me being like, hurry up, and you're like 10 more minutes. And it's like to feel seen in a way where I'm like, look at him being frustrated and angry about working so hard on food just to have it be like snatched and disappeared and ill-mannered.
But yeah, the grill has been a wonderful addition to our lives. Really feeling it.
We are doing something very big, which I think is interesting. There's our real talents, I believe, is movie writing together.
It's a talent, yeah.
A talent.
We enjoy writing scripts. We enjoy writing scripts, yes.
Oh, and I wanted to tell you from grill to grill. But anyways, I think it's interesting that while a project is kind of seeing its way into production, as a writer, someone was asking me, like, how does it all work? And I'm like, I believe in like a relay race. A movie is a relay race where like it starts with the writer and then it's handed off to like producer.
Yeah, there's a million steps along the way. Yes.
But the beginning is a special time, and maybe people wanting to write movies want to know what is the beginning? Well,
the reason the beginning is special is because there's nothing better as a creative than having an idea you're excited about. Because when you just have an idea, before you get in the nitty gritty of outlining it or writing specific scenes or taking notes and feedback from producers and all the different cooks in the kitchen, your idea can be anything. So just this spark, this inspiration is really exciting because it's something you're excited about that has not yet taken form, and so the options are endless, and that's exciting. And we stumbled upon an idea that we are now giving form to. We're working on it with someone we're very excited to be partnering with, that hopefully 3 years from now we'll be able to tell you all about it. But
the process
is great.
We like to watch movies in the genre.
And it took us forever to find the right corkboard.
That is actually a funny thing where people are like, I'm having trouble writing, and it's like, do you need a new notebook? And you're like, that's it.
We now cannot start writing a movie until we have the right corkboard, because we need to pin up with all the index cards, the scenes and the character ideas that we have. And our last corkboard broke, and so it's taken about a month for us. We had to find the right whiteboard, corkboard mix.
Damage on it.
Amazon sent us one. It was already broken. Then I went to Office Depot and it was too small.
The writer's like, so how, like if we're sitting on the couch with Jimmy Fallon, like, how did you write the movie?
But what's funny is we had this meeting. We had a meeting with this person we're working on a new movie idea with a couple weeks ago. And since then, we've done our homework by watching movies in that genre every night. We've watched some really great movies, and we've also spoken about the ideas, but we haven't put pen to paper or started writing anything because we didn't have the corkboard. And then last night, I Bob the Builder the corkboard onto the wall, which, again, took a lot of ingenuity. It wasn't as simple as just nailing in a couple things. And the new corkboard is up, and the minute the corkboard went up, it was like I was on Adderall. Ideas were flying. Last night at like 10:30, I got the corkboard up, and by 11:15, there were like 30 index cards on the corkboard full of all the things we talked about but hadn't fully fleshed out. And then I came up with 2 new ideas that I was very excited to tell you while you were under your red light.
I saw the Kelly Clarkson concert, and
Oh,
she
yeah.
talked about diarrhea.
Say more about that. A couple weeks ago, you went to Kelly Clarkson. I was very surprised. I asked how the concert was, and the very first thing you told me was she talked about diarrhea. So go on.
Well, I went with a friend who works for Caesars, and we were so excited. We go to see Kelly. I couldn't believe it. It was sold out in the Coliseum. Beautiful theater.
Already too much information. Just get to the point.
She's jamming on stage, singing like an angel. And she was like, yesterday I had a sweat drip down. You know, what's great about being single is when I walked into that hotel room last night, I did not want a man there. And she basically talked about taking a big old diarrhea dumpy and then coming back to bed and being like, whoa, and running back to the toilet.
Which at least it's in the zeitgeist. I think she was hinting at the fact that she got the cyclospora. She had a little bit of Taco Bell lettuce and got the runs. That it's not like diarrhea conversation has not been part of the news cycle over the last few weeks.
I love scatological references, but I usually think it's happening in comedy, and I think more singers should be talking about poop. I want to see Celine Dion go into like, what's her bowel movements?
I'm going to take a hard pass on any singers talking about their poop, but I will say you sharing that part of Kelly's concert with me awakened me into what kind of song she sings, because I thought Kelly sang love songs. And so when you told me she was talking about diarrhea to the audience, I was like, that's so weird to talk about diarrhea and transition directly into a love ballad. And you're like, no, she sings heartbreak. She sings breakup songs. And I was like, oh, actually diarrhea does go well with breakup songs. But I never knew Kelly was a breakup song artist until you told me that she was talking about pooping on stage.
She talks about heartburn.
Heartburn and heartbreak.
Heartbreak. And then I had to know, because of you, I never strayed too far from the sidewalk. I was like, well, what is that?
Because she needed to find a bathroom.
What is that? Yeah.
That's what she had to
It's about diarrhea. No, I had to even ask myself what it is. I looked at lyrics. She's had childhood trauma. Her parents were divorced very young, and now she was raised to be so scared of things, and because her mom was so protective. So it's how childhood trauma follows us into adulthood, which is what we're trying to unpack with your misophonia.
There's nothing to unpack. I know exactly where all of my misophonia came from. My dad was a loud chewer, and it scars me to this day. There's nothing left to unpack. End of story. No need to go to therapy. It is what's funny about you finding the Kelly songs addressing her parents when you thought it was like talking to a lover. I feel like there's a whole subgenre of songs where people assume it's about an adult or a lover that's actually about parent or a child. Because even though it sounds crazy as I'm about to say it out loud, the song is literally called Sweet Child of Mine. But the Guns N' Roses song, I feel like nobody knows Axl wrote that song for his daughter, right? Like,
right. Or in comedy, you're like, Sweet Child of Mine. Is that his girlfriend?
Right. Like, he starts singing about the bluest eyes of this thing he loves, and everyone assumes it's kind of a love song. Then you realize he's singing about his daughter. And I do feel like if people spend more time actually unpacking the lyrics or getting the backstory of some of their favorite songs, they'll realize a lot of songs are not about lovers. A lot of songs are about the parent-child dynamic.
I am currently obsessed with Steely Dan. I have come into a chapter in my life. We've gotten through the Eagles, and now I'm.
You're not currently obsessed with Steely Dan. You are still obsessed with Steely Dan. You've been on a 4-year-long yacht rock obsession. Yacht Rock has been the soundtrack to our household for the last 4 years. Steely Dan is nothing new to your playlist. It's just back in the rotation.
I'm turning into the Oh Hello characters. I'm just like, I want tuna and Steely Dan and a little cocaine.
There are worse things to want.
But yeah, I've been jamming to Steely. Do you want to get into the big news story?
Yeah, you got something for this week in Vegas.
Well, I think it's interesting that the Las Vegas skyline has been shifting and changing. At first, it was like, what hotels are getting demolished? And then they demolished a couple hotels, Mirage, I think, and Tropicana.
Yeah, but what's the story?
And they're building up. They got the guitar going. Everyone knows.
The new Hard Rock, yeah.
And the big one that just got approved is a heart-shaped hotel. Everyone go, oh.
And you showed me the design, and I honestly thought it was like AI slop. It looked so ridiculous to me. It's a huge hotel with a giant heart carved out in the middle, and I have to assume that there will be rooms inside of the heart because it takes up so much space that it would just be the worst use of real estate for it just to be a giant heart sculpture in the middle.
If you look closely, it's actually a broken heart because it's a breakup
and
song.
Kelly Clarkson will be performing there, her new residency at the Heartbreak Hotel. No,
but I think it's going to be a popular hotel.
From what I saw on the picture that you showed me that got approved, it is a bit of an eyesore. But I do think you're right that the new thing, the Vegas skyline, is no longer going to be like bright hotels so much as definable objects. Like the Hard Rock Hotel is going to be a giant guitar. Whatever this hotel is now going to be a giant heart.
The Sphere started it. The Sphere's like, we're a sphere. And they're like, we're a cone.
So now the Las Vegas skyline is just going to look like a child's treasure box. It's just going to be various.
Luxor and Excalibur.
I mean, a castle and a pyramid are still, yes, they're children's toys, but they're also at least like shapes of a type of habitat. They're shapes of a type of thing you can live in. People live in pyramids, or at least get buried in pyramids. People live in castles. No one lives inside of a guitar. No one lives inside of a heart, but that is becoming the new design, and I cannot wait to see how many ridiculous... The Las Vegas skyline is going to look like a Monopoly board. Yes. Like, there's going to be a shoe, there's going to be a thimble. That's true. It is an adult playground, but I think it's an eyesore.
They don't have a car hotel.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. Whatever you can think of.
Race car hotel. I think that the law in Vegas, we have the most relaxed marriage laws and annulment laws.
Wait, so do you think the Hart Hotel is going to become a new hotspot for marriages?
Absolutely. I think that there must be a chapel.
Because I know, but the thing about like Vegas weddings is it's always done in cheap, shitty little chapels. Like none of the Vegas weddings are done properly in big hotels. I mean, people get married in Vegas and have nice hotel weddings, but the like Vegas wedding that people imagine, the Little White Chapel is the Little White Chapel. It's a shitty little chapel. Absolutely not. Not. Oh, we could renew our vows, but not at the Hart Hotel. That's what I thought you were getting at. But
you are so anti-Hart Hotel, and I'm excited about the Hart Hotel.
It just looks ugly, but
yeah. Well, that's tacky. We like tacky.
So you think the entire decor on the inside is going to be like love themed?
I hope so. I hope it's like a tacky, red, velvety.
Well,
I think it'll be fun.
So it's going to be like year-round Valentine's Day decor inside the Hart Hotel.
Yes. You're so grossed out. I'm thinking red roses, velvet red, a red carpet. I mean, this is things that I like.
So you're excited about the Hart becoming part of the skyline?
Yes, and when I go there for my birthday dinner, and I think it'll be anniversary dinner, birthday dinner, a lot of like chocolate-covered strawberries.
I think that's why I'm so averse to it already, is I know how much time I'm going to end up having to spend in this godforsaken hotel.
I want to wear like a long Jessica Rabbit red dress. I think that women are already like planning their like Lana Del Rey looks to go and have caviar. It's cheesy. But what? Life is too short to not be full of
rather go to medieval times at Excalibur.
Can we dress up?
I'd rather go to Blue Man Group at the Luxor 10 times out of 10.
I'd rather see the real body exhibit in my birthday suit. I really do like that this is a fun town where people dress up and go out and do things.
I am now, like as we were talking about it, I'm now becoming fascinated by the thought of fast forwarding to the year like 2042, where the Las Vegas skyline is nothing but objects and shapes. There's not a single normal looking hotel or building. It is just objects jutting from the ground.
And then it's just like a giant burger and a castle and a diamond.
Oh, we're staying at the Taco Hotel.
Yeah, it's easy to find. But I just also think...
We're staying at the Sneaker right down the street from...
And we'll be out of water, so champagne will be flowing.
No, that's not true. We're not going to be out of water. I spoke to someone who has it on good authority that Las Vegas has water for the next 20 years.
There we go.
So we will definitely at least be living here through the children going to college, and then we'll see if it has turned into...
Go Jacks. Do you think that by then the Jacks will have some championships?
Yeah, and they're going to be playing out of a stadium that looks like a bright orange basketball.
I don't want to like change the news in Vegas, but the news is still people are fighting over... who's going to own the new team, the Jacks.
Yeah, I believe the Waltons have entered the chat. The guy who owns the Aces has put in a bid. There's been some rumors around other professional athletes who might pool their money together. And now the Walmart family, who already owns the Broncos, so I can attest to the fact that they're good owners. They do a good job. They spend money when it needs to be spent, but they don't put it all on the fans. I wouldn't mind the Waltons coming in and taking over the Las Vegas NBA franchise.
Do they work with John Elway?
I believe no. John Elway is no longer part of the Denver Broncos front office. He was a great quarterback. He did not have a good post-playing career in the NFL.
That's so tricky. It's like hard enough to become an athlete. Now you have to have like a suit line and a makeup line.
No, most athletes, a lot of athletes fail as coaches or front office executives because they played at such a high level that they don't have a realistic grasp on what it's like to not be otherworldly talented. So like as coaches, they get frustrated by players who aren't capable of doing what they were capable of because they don't understand why you can't execute at a superstar level if you were a superstar. Or as a front office type, they fall in love with players that remind them of themselves that might not necessarily be right for today's game, stuff like that.
Of course.
You get it.
That's so fun.
And by the way, how excited are you that football season's right around the corner? College football, NFL football. Get ready for that TV screen to have football 4 days a week, baby.
There was an event at Zero Bond, and it says women's like educational brunch about fantasy football.
Really? See, that's fascinating to me. They're doing that? You should go to that. Wait a second. So they are holding a forum to teach women about fantasy football?
Yeah.
And by the way, there's tons of...
They're giving out ball trimmers, too.
By the way, there's tons of women that are good at fantasy football, know fantasy football. So it's not as male-dominated space as it used to be, but I think it's awesome that they are trying to bring women into the fantasy football fold. I think that could save marriages. You know how many marriages are probably like in bitter fights from August to January because of the amount of time husbands are spending on fantasy football. But if it became a thing that you could do together...
No, because then I would be cheering for I'm always going to be cheering for the wrong running back, and you're going to be cheering for this quarterback and this run. And it's like, wouldn't we be yelling at each other?
No, well, we wouldn't be playing in the same league. I'm not talking about a world where we're competing against each other in fantasy football. I'm just saying,
you're out of my league.
If you had your own fantasy football team to monitor, it would be one more thing we could talk about.
I feel like this is a fake TV show where they're like, women watching football.
So actually, as we're talking about it, I would be annoyed if you became obsessed with fantasy football. As I said out loud, I'm like, I don't want to talk about fantasy you. But I don't want you doing fantasy football, but I like the idea of women in general being ingratiated into the world of fantasy football.
Everything you do, if I did it, you'd be very upset.
Oh, like comedy?
Yeah.
That's the thing. We already share so many things in our life. If we had completely different jobs, then I'd be like, hey, fantasy football is finally this common ground, but our lives completely overlap. We're both comedians. We actively write movie scripts together. So fantasy football needs to be the thing that I do while you do skincare under your red light sauna blanket bullshit.
You know what?
That's where the fork in the road goes in. What?
Having a romantic dinner at the Hart Hotel while you're dressed in a beautiful tuxedo.
I'll make you a deal. Here's what we're going to do. This is where our worlds collide. You get to wear your Jessica Rabbit dress and pick the restaurant while I go watch the game at the sportsbook in the Hart Casino.
Then I'll be all alone.
No. We'll go to dinner, and then you come with me to the sportsbook after. So we both get our night in the Hart Casino.
Okay, but what's going to happen if a woman in a Roger Rabbit dress sits at a sportsbook? Is everyone going to start chumming me up about my fantasy team?
You're going to be sitting next to me. It's not a big deal.
I'll be like, we're both living our fantasies.
There you go.
His has to do with Russell Westbrook.
I'm getting hot and tired. So what do you have for Joke Yard?
I have an idea for a joke that's real bare bones.
Let me just address something quickly in case there's anyone who's been listening from episode 1, because I have no problem if this is where we're going with it. But you originally pitched Joke Yard to me as a segment where we go through old jokes and try to revive or work on stuff that either never worked or we never really took to the stage. And I feel like you have completely transitioned into turning it into an open mic where you're bringing new ideas. Are you just out of old jokes that didn't work? And that's fine, but I just need to know what the parameters of Joke Yard are. because it was supposed to be old jokes being revived, and now you're just treating it like this is where we work on new shit.
You're absolutely right.
Thank you.
But I think that I need to push myself to go through the old notebooks and actually uncover gems, which I was doing, and I haven't done the homework. And so now I'm like, oh, what else do I have? But I swear I have some things. But why don't you go? Well, the period party girl. I think I got it this time.
Okay. Go.
So it makes me jealous that men wake up, they got the testosterone. It's the same thing every single day. Women, we're on a roller coaster and it's annoying. And the only way that I can really truly explain what's happening to my uterus is that my uterus is basically like a sexy party girl who's ready to go out, and the egg comes into the uterus all excited, waiting for the guy. She looks gorgeous, she's glowing, and she's waiting and waiting and waiting, and he doesn't show up. Then she gets fucking pissed and she starts lighting shit on fire. She gets ice cream, she starts to cry, and then she's pissed. Finally, she picks herself up by the bootstraps, she settles in, and she's ready to go back out and party again. And that is my month.
So your joke idea is an extended metaphor for the period being a woman and the cycles of all the emotional turmoil of a woman through romance. Like,
yes, the egg comes, it's waiting for the sperm.
Right, like a woman goes out waiting for a date. The date stands her up. Then she's grumpy, goes home, eats ice cream. And that's when you're going through PMS or the period.
She wants to slash his tires.
I think it's a really good analogy. I think there's a lot of room for funny in there. Mm-hmm. I think the setup that you used on this podcast was incorrect. Because I'll tell you, you started by saying, I'm jealous of men. They wake up with their testosterone. Don't make it about men. Like, you didn't.
Okay.
Just paint the picture of explaining what it's like for women to actually not just have their period, but the entire month of emotions and the cycles based on what part of the cycle you're in, as opposed to talking about how men have it easy. Because I feel like men are just going to instantly tune out when you start with, I'm so jealous of men. They get testosterone, we get our period. And then half the crowd is automatic like, here we go again.
I yearn for that reaction.
If you're not dividing the crowd, you're not doing comedy.
I don't want laughs. I want, oh, women are annoying.
No, but I think there's a world where you can bring men into the fold by being like, fellas, you don't understand. I know you guys think that the period is just 1 week out of the month. What you don't realize is it's actually a full month cycle, and I'm going to walk you through the entire month. It's as if you're a woman waiting to go on a date.
Holy shit, you're better at this than me.
It's because of the testosterone I woke up with.
If only I wasn't raging right now. I'm ready to slash some tires.
All right.
Kelly Clarkson song is appropriate right now.
Why, do you have to shit? It does suck that now it's one of those like inseparable images where now no matter what, when a Kelly Clarkson song comes on, I'm going to think about her having to take a shit.
And Celine Dion makes me think of vomiting.
Why?
So coming back to me now.
No.
Do you have a joke?
Yeah. So this was an old one that I liked the joke, but I feel like it might be a little too harsh to say. Like, it's a little too vulgar to have ever worked. But this was a true quote. When I first moved to Bushwick, there was an old Puerto Rican man who was kind of the OG on the block. He was fresh out of prison, named Chino. He was one of the first people on the block to actually look out for me, let people know I was good in the neighborhood. And he said, he went on a whole thing about how he liked me even though I was white. He doesn't give a fuck about race. He doesn't see color. As long as you're a good person, I don't see color. And then he said, but I love white bitches because they pussies smell like roses. And I just thought, and so that's where it's too vulgar to say. Like, I understand I could never get to work, but what was funny to me is I think the line I said was, so he doesn't see color, but he smells it like a bumblebee smells fear. So it was like, I don't know how to make. I thought it was funny that he went on this very beautiful thing about how he's not racist and
the roses.
I'm not trying to bring those two together. I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things that it was just like funny to hear in real life out of someone's mouth who wasn't trying to be funny but will never work on stage.
That's such a good. The visuals and the story is. I'm like sucked in. I'm like, tell us more about Chino, and I already know you gave him like a mattress or something.
Yeah, no, Chino was my boy. But the thing is, it's like the line that was funny. I don't want to make up a line that he didn't say. I want to quote him as is. I don't want to misquote Chino. But the line he actually said was so vulgar that I think it's going to be really hard to get people back after I say, I love white bitches because they pussies smell like roses.
Like, is there a funny thing you can add about yourself?
No. So, in summary, I think I am probably going to leave that joke retired and just assume that it was a funny story by someone who said something funny in the moment where you just had to be there. And there's no part about my set that requires me cracking the nut on that joke. Final verdict.
We will lay it to rest in the graveyard of old jokes.
R.I.P. Chino quotes. All right, dates. This week, I will be at the Las Vegas Comedy Cellar at the Rio, August 3rd through the 9th. Shows at 7 and 9:30 every night. After that, September 3rd, we will be in Dallas.
Yay.
September 23rd, we'll be in Tampa. September 25th and 26th, I'm headlining Jimmy Kimmel's in Las Vegas. Those are the dates that I got.
I will be I'm not supposed to tell you. Don't tell August 1st. That's this Saturday. Oklahoma City. I'm excited to come back August 29th. We've got Dallas September 3rd, as Noah said. September 23rd, Tampa. September 24th, I'm in Las Vegas opening for Emma Willman. What an amazing show that's going to be. And then the 25th and 26th, I'll be with Noah opening for him at Kimmel's. And then November 7th and 8th, I'm going to be in Nashville, Tennessee. More dates coming soon. I put a little poll on my Insta, what cities you want to see us in. You can always message us and request a city.
As a matter of fact, maybe we'll do a live against his will one day, and I'll bring the pink mauve pillows.
That's so funny. They're like, what do you need for the
That's
podcast?
on our radar.
2 mics and 2 mauve pillows.
2 mics, a vegetable platter, a fruit tray, and pillows that we will argue about the color.
Can you make it really hot so we get Grumpy Noah in full force?
Grumpy Noah's there. Believe it or not, I will be there.